What is going on, guys? We are back here today with another discussion video. Today we are going to be ranking the Pokemon generational mechanics from generation 6 through 9, and I got my boy Sama here with me today, as he has also been around for all of these generations when they were current gen. We've seen a lot, man, and you know, the inspiration behind doing this video is that me and Sama were seeing some tweets and stuff about people talking about different mechanics, people talking about Z moves and that kind of thing, and I was like, honestly, bro, it's only really 4 major mechanics that we really discuss most of the time. Let's just do a tier list video. Let's just rank these 4. And we decided against going back to Gen 5 and Gen 4 where they have things like permanent weather or team preview, physical special split, and all that, because those aren't really like a mechanic
centralized,
exactly the way Gen
concepts.
6 through 9 has clear-cut Mega, Z-Move, Dynamax, and Terastalization. And of course, these last 4 generations are the ones we played the most competitively. I played all 4 of these generations in tournament extensively, so I'm excited to talk about that. So you can see from our categories, we have basically level 1 through 4. First, amazing mechanic, positive for the game altogether. All right, so that would just be a great mechanic. Pokemon hit it out of the park with that one. It made the game fun. We all won as a result of that. It was a good time. Fun mechanic, overall balance. So this is more of a personal enjoyment over the fact that it's like super amazing for the game, but still good. We could say it's overall balanced. Third would be mediocre mechanic, okay? So this means it makes the game a bit confusing and it takes away from competitive gameplay. I put makes for constrictive gameplay because this would be something where the metagame almost revolves around this new mechanic,
very centralized,
and so as a result it's far different than the rest of the game, past generations or that kind of thing. Basically it's not as inviting. And then the last category is awful mechanic that hurt competitive Pokemon. So this would just be the worst. This would be a mechanic that did nothing positive and only made people look at competitive Pokemon like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean?
What's going on?
This video probably won't be too serious. Of course, I do want to hear in the comments below what you guys think, your opinions as well on all these mechanics. But, you know, these are 4 wildly different things. And me and Sama decided, let's go down memory lane. Let's talk about these.
Especially since this is the first time mechanics actually coming back.
Megas are coming back. So it's like, what better time than now to talk about that? Go check out the video I did with Joe on his channel where we talked about ranking all 50 Megas. It's a phenomenal 2-hour video. We had a lot of fun doing it, and we came to some pretty interesting realizations. I think in this video, even though we only have these 4, and obviously these categories are well defined, we don't honestly know where each one is going to go until we do it. But let's get into it. So that's enough for the intro, guys. First off, we have Mega Evolution, the core mechanic of Generation 6. Now, there's so many things I can say about this, right? So much variation.
So many things.
50-something Megas, I think.
51, I think,
And when it came out, it was amazing because everyone was like, holy cow, they revamped old stuff. And even unexpected Pokemon, which we never would have thought, bro, Audino has a Mega. Like, what? And I think that Houndoom, for example, which is people love that Pokemon, but that's not no competitive hitter.
But at the time, very forgotten.
Exactly. So I think this makes it one of the most loved mechanics. Of course, 51 Megas is also doing a lot of work for them in the sense that everybody has something they like. Nobody looks at Mega Evolutions for the most part and is like, yeah, they're all shit. Unless you're like a Goob hater.
Yeah, but you're right. That sentiment, when Megas first got reviewed, there was in a Koro magazine, if you remember back in the day, they used to do those. And people were like, oh no, Pokemon is moving into the Digimon aspect. Are these things permanent? Because we didn't have too much info. So at first we're like, are these permanent? That's gonna be crazy. You know, some mons will just go up infinitely. But then, you know, we got a demo, the game dropped, we played, people thought it was amazing. It was so refreshing, and like you said, it revitalized some mons that were completely out of the limelight, like the Gen 1 mons, like you said, Houndoom, and even mons that people usually don't think about, like Audino, stuff like that. So it was really, really a big splash when it came to Pokemon.
100%.
This is something completely fresh and new, you know?
Bro, the power level went to a place where we were just like, bro, what is going on?
This is crazy.
Abilities,
it was so much different.
I mean, now we have stuff like Stab Terra, you know, and like Self Terra type, but back then we had the abilities like Aerialate, Refrigerate. We were
huge
like
power, pure power.
On Medicham, for example, like we had Mega Alakazam with that. I don't even know what Mega Alakazam special is. I think it's 170 base. And then all the guys had like brutal speeds of 150. Tyranitar with all that buff. It was awesome. We have never played with anything like Megas up until that point. We had some strong Pokemon, but bro, the peak of power was like mixed Salamence and shit, or mixed Garchomp and Gen
back then,
and Latios, and shit like that, bro. It was never Megas for me personally, I'm so overly nostalgic about as a whole, and it was so perfect. Gen 6, I actually started playing at the end of Black and White 2. That's when I found Online Simulator and competitive Pokemon. So I didn't actually start understanding Mons in Gen 6. I'm saying the reverse. I'm saying I started understanding it at the end of Gen 5. It's not like Gen 6 was my first time playing Pokemon. But Gen 6 I look at with the most enjoyment because, dude, it was like a year or two of me trying all the Megas on ladder and stuff like that to see what worked. Obviously, we knew what the strongest guys were, stuff like Mega Mawile and whatnot, but, you know, it was...
But even then, there were still trends, right? In the meta, certain Megas became more popular, more dominant. Other ones fell out of favor, right? Because of certain teams and cores, whether that be like Mega Pinsir versus everybody running steals and stuff like that. So like you said, it wasn't immediately solved. Obviously, there were guys like you said, like, wow, obviously this Mega is insane, you know, Mega Lopunny, Mega Metagross, all immediately comes to mind. Mega Metagross comes to mind.
Mega Metagross,
you know, stuff
is
like that.
Is just hilariously not real. Me and Joe were talking about that, and Joe asked me, he's like, "Is there a world where this guy's not broken?" I had to put my put my hand on Buddy's shoulder.
I also remember exactly that meme. But I also remember back then the Lottie twins. They were very like not liked competitively at first, but I'm pretty sure Latias later on had like a spike in tournament play, right?
Oh, Mega Latias Mega Latias is everywhere now.
Yeah, but back then in the beginning, people didn't look at him. They were like, people were like, what's the point? Their speed is the same.
And I like that. It's not like Megas all outclassed their counterparts, because that would have been dumb.
Immediately.
Yeah. There was still...
And...
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say, what is interesting is that this mechanic at the time wasn't a universal mechanic. Not everybody could Mega. So you went into the game thinking, okay, that's Pinsir, that could potentially Mega Evolve, or you know, that's Houndoom, could potentially Mega Evolve, but not everybody, you know. So you kind of had like a matchup familiarity, like you knew what was happening. These are the rules, these are the mons that can Mega Evolve, and that's it, you know. Unlike later mechanics where everybody could use the mechanic, use and abuse, you know. So this was super unique, and like you said, this was Gen 6. It was X and Y. It started with. There was a part 2, which was Oras, where we got even more Megas, right? But super fun. Could you tell me more about like the tournament sense for when Megas happened back then?
Bro, it was when the game first came out, everybody was trying to figure out what was the best. Of course, we knew. I mean, most of the super broken stuff was banned very early on. I'm talking Mega Kanga, Mega Gengar, all those like egregiously busted Pokemon. But it took a long time for some Pokemon to come into like Mega Medicham has 600 attack. That guy wasn't used forever, bro. It took
people felt like he was slow.
The first good Mega Medicham team came from me when I made that Volturn shit. You know what year that was? That was 2016. You know how many years it had been since Gen 6 came out before that Medicham team took over and people started giving Medicham respect? Bro, there were 51 Megas, which means it took so long for people to find which Mega had some type of utility. My boy brought a Mega Camerupt to a Gen 6 tournament and a Gen 7 tournament, won both games, and he told me, he's like, nobody understands that this Mon is actually a good electric resist and stuff like that. And then I started thinking, like, dude, these Mons are ridiculous. BST ability, all of that. Megas for me is a perfect 10. There are some Megas where it's like, oh, this is cheap. But even the cheap Megas, I have come to enjoy and respect their design. Mega Kanga looks awesome. The fact that it fights with its baby is hilarious, bro.
It's amazing. Yeah, there's concepts behind it. There's unique abilities behind them. But also, the variance is what's, like you said, Mega Camerupt being usable. Like everybody had like a different use. Some of them obviously were like, you know, used for like their speed or power or win con and stuff like that, but there was numerous different things you could do, you know. Not every team was made to enable one Mega, but it could, you know. That was what I really enjoyed about that metagame. It was amazing to me.
Nah, it was absolutely perfect. There's nothing for me to really complain about in terms of Megas. The variation was good, and it set the groundwork for how crazy shit was about to get. Because fast forward to what we have today with changing your type to whoever you want, and that is so much more ridiculous. So Megas for me, we talked about it a lot. I'm talking about amazing mechanic, just positive for the game overall.
I don't think
there are a few people who think Megas are dumb, but overall there was something for everybody, and I find that to be
I like that too. Yeah, very mixed bag. You see a lot of different faces, a lot of different sets. Okay. Also, like for example, Pinsir's an example where people were like, okay, how are you going to use this mon? Are you going to use the Intimidate before he megas, right?
Yeah.
Or are you going to use the Moxie boost and then mega? Like there was all kinds of different sets. You had the Mega Metagross where maybe you use Agility. I think I remember was a set as well at some point. Or am I wrong?
No, there was some shit that used to rock polish, bro. Yes.
Right, and yeah, rock polish. You also had like power up punch and with Mega Lob. There's all kinds of different sets which made it super fresh. Like I don't think that it became super centralized, even when people had like, okay, this is the cream of the crop. These are slightly more mediocre.
There were definitely periods where people would be like, oh my god, can people stop using this Mega? But like
Sableye. I remember Mega Sableye was a huge one. Huge.
I don't even blame people who had a bad experience with that and have like a bad taste in their mouth over that specific metagame. I don't blame them at all. Like
for sure. But that goes back for me as well. During that time, people might not remember, but stuff like how much damage Will-O-Wisp did, how common Toxic was as a move pool for everybody.
Those support guys were absolutely ridiculous. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's something that also comes into play when the generation dropped. How much did the mechanic have an impact, and how much was it, for example, other stuff that the game brings?
I actually loved how much it drew people to change it up and really tap in with the building. I loved that. I'm not a builder. I don't care. I don't care about building. I like playing. And I'll tell you this: Gen 5, I have very good tournament results in Gen 5, and I use the exact same team almost every game in Gen 5. I would either bring Tyranitar, Ferrothorn, Latios, Heatran, and then two, but those four are always there. Or I would run a Rain team, which is the exact same shit, except there's a Politoed and a Keldeo over the Tyranitar and the Heatran. You know, it's the exact same shit. I ran those two teams. I must have, my Gen 5 variation of Mons must have been like 17 Mons max that I would scroll through. Like there was no reason for me to.
6?
Like, but in 6,
specifically during ORAS, the peak of it, man.
Bro, there were amazing Pokemon in Gen 6, but you could really cook up some shit. Yeah. I brought Mamoswine and Mega Aerodactyl in the semifinals of the biggest tournament back then in OU, and I won. I smoked the guy. Because these were some Mons where people really didn't know like the potential of some of these guys, or it's not even that they're amazing Pokemon sometimes, but they have a role. So the fact that almost every mega has a role or could show that it had something, it's
really good.
It's awesome.
I applaud
it's
that.
Awesome. I
applaud that.
Some are garbage, right? Really like Mega Abomasnow, for example, is never gonna be
you can't do it. Yeah, you could try your hardest, but that's just that. But not everybody was gonna be a star. Not everybody was gonna be Mega Ments or Mega Alakazam or something. That makes sense.
But think about Beedrill. Nobody knows what the fuck Beedrill is, and they gave him a fucking super boost. Look at Pinsir, bro. I did not, bro. You know what I knew Pinsir as before this? I knew him as Dick Pinch from Hayden's videos. That's
shiny blue.
That's who I knew. That's what I knew Pinsir as, bro.
Aerialate,
bro. I remember preparing for Gen 6 tournament games, and I'd think, does this guy use overly fat shit? I guess my Pinsir Zone is coming for that ass.
Yes, we literally used to say Pinsir 6-0s. He has no frustration resist. Just don't worry about it. Once Heatran is gone, he's in there.
Oh my goodness,
basically,
bro.
That shit was amazing. But that was fun. But you had teams like that. You had, for example, later I remember running. Also, something we forget. During this time, we had not just megas that were strong. We had Battle Bond Greninja, which was a thing that came out that people forgot about. Battle Bond Greninja was crazy back then, right? Or was it 7 that Battle Bond came out? I thought it was 6.
Battle Bond Gren is from Gen 7. Gen 6 is just...
it is from 7. Okay, 6 is just Protean.
Gen 6 is just Protean, and then it got banned because it learned Gunk Shot on the... When ORAS came out, Greninja got access to Gunk Shot, and that made it completely blank Clefable, and then they were just like, just ban it. Because Clef was the ultimate
get rid of it.
wall.
It's counter.
Barely a
Clef
wall.
was a super glue.
But it was the Gloomon that they were like, this beats Gren, so it's chill. Then Gunk Shot came out, and they were like, this is just dumb.
Didn't even do it anymore. Yeah, exactly.
They were like, all right, no, we can't defend the guy that literally only wins more.
Exactly.
But yeah,
he never lost.
Megas will put that at the top. We've been talking about that for a minute now.
For sure.
I'll put timestamps on this video as well, so you guys can skip to whatever you want to hear us rank, depending on how long this takes. But
then it's Gen 7.
Gen 7. Well,
Z moves.
We love Z moves.
Wow.
We love Z moves, man. What are your thoughts?
Z moves? My thoughts immediately. I was like, because you go from Megas into Z moves, and you're like, okay, so this is just move specific. At first, we thought it was gonna be a 5th move or something. Are we gonna get a 5th move? How does this work? Oh no, it turns one of your moves correlating with a stone into a super move. Okay, that's interesting. So, can anybody use these, or is it exclusive to Mons? We didn't know.
This was like the upgraded version of gems.
Yes,
right?
That's what people said immediately. Right. Yeah, it's like powered up gems, but it had an effect for some moves.
Super powered up gems, bro. Like it was. I don't know. It was interesting. It was really fucking interesting when it came out. You know, Joey tells me he thinks Z moves are kind of dumb and broken, which is not that he's like a hater or nothing, but you know what I mean? Like he just told me he's like, bro, I always thought they were a little OP. More than anything else.
Okay, so you know what I always thought of? I can see that for sure. But you know what I always thought of? Z moves is like the first time they conceptually did what they did with later mechanics like Terra, where it was like any Mon could potentially beat out a matchup, they lose.
That's why I love it.
For example, Greninja can't beat Heatran, or like let's say Gastrodon, or whatever. Just
Z Bloom
Gastrodon couldn't,
boom,
and then all of a sudden Z Bloom.
Exactly, bro. Or Z Acid Downpour, a one-hit KO Tangrowth, who should never be one-hit KO'd by your attacks. If it's AV, but stuff like that where that I understand, and there are definitely some interactions in Z moves where I truly felt like this is pain and it's not skillful, and that would be Garchomp Z-Rock versus Z-Dragon. But I will say at the peak of competition, I could already tell from their team what they were gonna have.
From team building, what their coverage would be.
But it's not fair to say that, because not everybody wants to play at that Giga tryhard level where they need to be able to on command identify
where the mind game pre-battle is already big because of stuff like coverage versus non-coverage. What is this weak? It's a lot of guessing, like you said. You had to guess what the Z-Stone was, and you had to guess which one was the holder at the time, which was already like, whoa, this is way different than having to guess what the Mega was, because obviously, like we already said, only certain Mons could Mega, but in Gen 7, everybody could Z-move. Another thing that was interesting during this time is it's not like Megas were gone. Megas were also available during 7. So we had teams that had both a Mega and a Z user, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, there was blanket Z stones like Breakneck Blitz, or what was the fire one again? I forget the fire one. I know Corkscrew Crash is the steel one, right? But then you had unique ones like Komo's Calangerous Soul Blaze, Marshadow's 7-star Stealing Shadows, stuff like that.
7-star Super Shimon was nasty.
Yeah, Super Shimon. Mew had this one that set up Psychic Terrain and gave it an Omni boost, if I'm right.
Bro, that was one of my most spammed.
Bro, Z Happy Hour, all of a sudden, Victini Z Victory Dance, so much stuff that was like, whoa, wait a minute, these have like crazy win conditions. Whoa, this is way different than just a coverage move. Like, for example, like you said, Protean Greninja, all of a sudden the spike, you would use Z Ground DMZ, it would be like a base 40, or because it's scaled off of spike, right? Because it wasn't a damaging move, so it did way less damage, but it was still good coverage, and you could Oko stuff like Heatran. So it's way different than that. It was a different ballpark. Like, literally, you had some that were kind of like game warping in the sense that, all of a sudden we're Psychic Terrain and I'm the GOAT, Lamau, stuff like that. But I do think it was still very fun. It was very fun. Some Mons obviously abused it more than others.
I know Komodo and gave you PTSD every time I would click that Z clang and get +1+.
God.
And you know what? That's not your fault, gang. That's not your fault.
Bro,
I still don't know.
Bad,
Sama,
bro.
for those of you who don't know, Sama fucking hates Komodo and he blames me. Because in Gen 7, I'm the first guy in tournament to bring that Z shit.
Bro, and he would say, it's not that bad, bro. Just get good. I'm like, bro, are you sure?
Sama would always say, nice stupid Mon. Either go to my fairy type or instantly lose the game on the Z move. Because you get +1 everything. But man,
that shit was fucking insane,
I remember I lost a tournament game because I thought the dude was Celebrate Victini, but he was just fucking banded and he O-coded me turn 1.
Oh my god.
When he led with it, I just thought, oh no, you're not leading with Celebrate. I know what you're leading with, and I was like, fuck. I was like, what have I done?
But it was fun. Honestly, it was fun. It was super fun.
I would say it
gave so many Mons new sets, which I think is good. There's variance to it, right?
Bro, I would honestly put it in between these two, but first, it's not a mediocre mechanic. To me, it's a great mechanic. But it does kind of make for some strange kind of gameplay mechanics. But overall, I love. Oh, I'm not putting in. It's almost in between these two, bro. But I would have to put Megas as clearing it. Oh yeah.
Because I think the issue of Z moves is not necessarily the move itself. It's just some mons themselves, like you said, Chomp was a really good user, like a S tier user due to his coverage. Obviously some were outliers, like Kamo getting a fucking special LeBron James Z move, stuff like Marshado, but obviously they got banned, you know, mythical. But I don't think it's the mechanics fault. I thought it was certain mons. Where's the other things
and
that
we can also extrapolate that to another mechanic that people always say it's not the mon, it's the mechanic, and vice versa. Big Terra, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yes, but that comes later for sure.
But yeah, I would very happily put this where it's at right here.
Also, I do have a question before we move on to the next one.
Sure.
Thinking back of the power creep, because you did say from 5 to 6 was a huge power creep, but it felt cool. It felt refreshing. It felt more action-packed and cool, but it didn't feel like everybody is a do or die Pokemon now.
Yeah.
In 7, also 7 did have Ultra Beast, where we were like, bro, what is going on? Beast Boost? What do you mean Kartana is going insane right now? What do you mean Pheromosa is the GOAT?
Think about the mons that defensively power creeped. I'm talking about...
right. 7 had Toxapex, which was
exactly.
Huge Pokemon.
Even
and certain Z moves were necessary, right? Magearna as well.
We even saw defensive Z moves, which is something that people don't even talk about. The way you can have such a creative, fluid game plan with your Z move. My bro used to run, it was either Z Toxic or Z Haze Toxapex, but he had a stall like that, and it was genius because either Z Toxic or Z Haze, they recover your health. Sorry, I don't remember which one right now it is, but one of them either recovers your health.
I get the point though.
One of them does some shice shit, and it was genius because Toxapex always gets knocked off. It's the Pokemon you switch in to knock off. So now you have a Z move which cannot get knocked off, so you're taking less damage, and you still have that in the back. And it's just genius. I love the defensive Z move. Z Heatran is the shit that won me Smogon tournament. If you remember, I fucking clicked
Bloom Doom, Corkscrew
bro,
Crash,
in the final game 3, I clicked Corkscrew Crash. Nobody had seen that until that day. That was 2 years into Gen 7. So it's not like people. It constantly forced the metagame to evolve. I can't get enough of that shit, bro.
It wasn't set in stone at one point, solved, and then that's it. This is what we're stuck with for the next couple of years. That wasn't the case at all. Very revolving and evolving, just like Megas. Like you said, so many new people did new kinds of team building strategies, new sets for all kinds of mon. Whether you were talking about Gastrodon or Heatran, Magearna, Toxapex, and like you said, certain mons. Or in the team build aspect, you have to use this Z move to stop Pex, or you like Z extra sensory.
Bro, my Greninja's always packed that E-Sense. My Greninja's always packed that E-Sense for this exact reason.
Because Pex was just a huge issue, right? It was cool. It was really cool. It also made you, as the pilot, be more aware of stuff. The game awareness was very important back then. You couldn't just drive, be like, oh, whatever. You know, his Mega is gone. It's over now. I know what to do. Which wasn't the case at all. Super fun mechanic. And I felt like the power creep wasn't too much. But there was power creep with the Tapus. Tapus was a crazy concept too. Having this quartet of Pokemon. We thought only one of them was going to be fire at the beginning, which I thought everybody at the time was like, obviously Coco was going to be the GOAT. But all of them used play. Even Feeny and Lele was crazy at some point too, right? Which is another abuser of a Z move, I remember. Or was it Specs in terrain with Psychic? You could do like 60 damage to Heatran or 70% on Spadefran? Or do I remember that wrong?
No, you're literally right. Like, it was just...
Right.
Man, this shit really...
Yeah, it takes you back, right? There was so much back then. So many folds and layers of how mons interacted. But I think it was a really good, fun mechanic, and it was overall balanced. It didn't feel too constrictive. It actually freed up a lot of creative thinking and team building. I really liked it. Yeah. Gen 7, both in Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon, which gave us Blacephalon and a couple of other. Who came back in Ultra Sun and Moon? We got Naganadel, Blacephalon. Were there other... Ultra Beasts?
What do you mean? All the Ultra Beasts are from Gen 7. Sorry, what are you asking?
Yeah, but you had Sun and Moon, and then you had Ultra Sun and Moon, and those gave us Naganadel and Blacephalon.
Oh, you're right. I actually forget about all those DLCs just because it's been so many different deals. But you're definitely right that those got dropped on us separately, if I recall correctly.
Right.
My memory's a little buggy, man.
Ultra
I'm
Sun
sorry.
And Moon. It was
Ultra Sun and Moon came out.
But that was fun.
What,
it was fresh.
Can you tell me when Ultra Sun and Moon came out? 2017 end?
17 is what I feel like. 2017 is what I feel like. And speaking of which, it also this is another thing. Going back to what you said, which is really, really keen. You said Megas made certain mons that were beloved way back when, like Gen 1, really fire and popping again, right? With a Mega.
Yes, bro.
Z moves also did that with some other stuff. Duck Trio, Ground DMZ Arena Trap was insane with the screech.
Oh my
Remember
God.
that?
You just
God,
unlocked, bro.
Yeah.
Don't let the demon out. Don't let the demon out.
The demon, right? He would trap you, screech, and then boom, Ground DMZ, get your guy knocked off.
Bro, I have never like, and the worst part about that guy is you actually. There's a reason Dugtrail's banned. You actually couldn't outplay that. They just wait. They just wait. You finally kill their mon, and they go yippee! He killed my mon.
Return, yippee! I'm in.
Finally,
bye Heatran,
bye Tyranitar, bye whoever. And it's like, thanks for playing, pussy-o. You're donezo. It's like, bro, what?
It was crazy, but like
again, so lame, bro.
You know, Shice perspective. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, overall fun mechanic, overall balanced. All right, Dynamax. So I gotta preface this by saying, for those that don't normally watch my channel, so I'm sure some of you just stumbled on this vid, I only play competitive singles, Soda Sama. It's what my channel is based on. So we're going to be talking about the singles view of Dynamax. I know Dynamax is apparently beloved in VGC, or rather it's like just accepted because it's part of their Generation 8, but this will simply be talking about how we feel about Dynamax for singles. So unfortunately, Dynamax was banned after 1 month. It was very fun to play with, but it was extremely insane to deal with. Double HP, max moves giving you +1 for whatever, or you know, causing a weather banned, or dude, Dynamax is one of the most obvious and high percentage bans ever, because it's just like
I remember us very early on saying, so this is Megas and Z moves at the same times. What do you mean?
It was really confusing.
Max Tailwind, Max Protect.
The issue with this is that it takes away being able to game plan. You know, people complain about Terastalize, like, oh my God, he turned into whatever type and beat me. No, this was that. This is what this is what that was. This was when Gyarados gets 600 HP and starts going for max Geyser and setting up Rain, but then it goes for max Airstream and gets a +1 speed. Then the Dynamax ends and this guy is all pimped out with all those
there.
And it's just like, crazy. Bruh, like the only skillful part of Z moves in Dynamax in singles was when you max guard on their Dynamax and you get the 1-up on the turn on them, and you now are that is like the only,
which is just getting the correct protect off.
Yeah, that's which is literally getting. I will say for doubles it's pretty shiced because your partner gets a boost and shit. So there's a whole bunch of like
there's a bigger
you know, there's some
it.
shit that but in singles that shit was just fun. That's the only way to describe it. It was a fun time. That shit was not meant to be.
It was very crazy. It was hectic. It was super hectic.
Giga hectic.
I don't know, were Gigantamax allowed or not? Because I really like the Gigantamax designs. A lot of them looked so cool.
Gigantamax was not allowed.
I don't remember playing them. Yeah, they were so crazy. Because remember who they had? They had Copper with the iron nose.
Yep.
Or what was it he had? Stony Wilderness.
No, Stony Wilderness is absolutely crazy. It was G-Max Skills. Yo, what are you talking about, gang?
You remember that? Yeah, that's what it's called. That's what it's called. Corviknight had Giant's Cap. Blastoise had stepping stone.
I'm actually weak right now.
Yeah, well, what do they have? You know, what was it called again? It was like a move that did damage, and it was like before Ceaseless Edge. I think Dreadnought had that.
Yes, G-Max Stone Surge. G-Max Stone Surge. Bro got up rocks.
Stone Surge.
And,
oh my god.
You're gonna make me Dynamax. That shit was so fire.
Yeah, Grimmsnarl, G-Max, Grimmsnarl looked
and you want to know something? They don't even know what his move was. Do you know what his move was? Bro, he bitch slaps you and it makes you snoozy. It puts you to sleep. It's yawn.
That's what Grimmsnarl does?
He attacks you and it makes you drowsy. His move was crazy, yo. No, let me look this up right now. Grimmsnarl G-Max move. I have to find this for you. That shit is called G-Max Snooze, brother.
G-Max Snooze, a dark type attack that Gigantamax Grimmsnarl can use.
Does he do damage or did I make that up?
Yes, 130 physical attack.
130 physical attack move that inflicts yawn. Like, bro. Please be fucking serious. Please. I'm begging you, please be serious.
Crazy. So I was like, oh, I wish we could have played more with that, but it was just too much. It was too high octane, too strong, too powerful. It was bypassing so much stuff. Like, I don't even want to think about what Gigantamax Urshifus were doing. Because remember, Urshifu was a mon that came out What the hell is this?
It was, Dynamax was really fun, and it let me use Pokemon that I never, bro. I tried out Orbeetle, you know, I tried all them shitters.
Orbeetle, yeah, he had a special, you're right, and they had they had Meowth, famously, the long ass Meowth cat. Remember? They had Pikachu looking like Generation 1 Pikachu. They had all kinds of
Dynamax
cool
to me was a very like, what the hell are y'all doing? But not in like
it's
a
I
hate
cool
you.
Spectator.
Yeah, it was like a what the fuck are y'all doing? But it was like more from an interest rather than a knock this shit intriguing. Off. You know? Yeah.
I know what you mean.
But when it was banned, I was like, man, thank God this stupid shit is not.
Thank God. Woo.
Because otherwise it was like, damn, Sam, I guess I'm a Gyarados main for the rest of my fucking life.
For the rest of your life?
Yeah, like either I bring that big bitch in and Z-Max Airstream, or you're going to do it. So I'm not going to be on the receiving end of that bullshit.
Literally. I don't know if you remember, we played randoms. We got Gen 8 and we both went what's it called? We went my Dynamax for Dynamax. Yes. Literally. That was literally what it was. But yeah, Gen 8, wow. And Gen 8 had power creep as well. So it's not like they had the Galarian forms, they had move changes, move tutors, I think. Also boots, heavy duty boots came into play, so the meta already experienced a new level of power creep.
Yeah, true. But all of that on top of that, Dynamax exactly.
Crazy.
It's like we couldn't even start thinking about other things until Dynamax was addressed.
It was too centralized.
Way too centralizing. So from a singles perspective, what happened to this is like it makes sense.
Yeah,
it was never going to last, in my opinion.
Yeah. It was unsustainable for sure.
It was impossible for this to be a thing. Which is fine. I don't know. I wish it worked.
I wish it worked too. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Especially some of the designs are so cool, dude.
Right.
Grimmsnarlito, he looks super tough. He looks so hard. But yeah, that was Gen 8. And now we have modern day Gen 9. Scarlet and Violet introduced Terastalization.
Where do you want me to put this? I'm gonna put this in awful.
I would put it in the bottom. Yeah, I would put it in the awful.
Awful means from a competitive, but fun-wise, it was fun. So any Dynamax lovers,
it was cool. Yeah,
ignore
the
negative terminology of the word awful.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be like you're dumb for liking this or whatever. I fucking love Dynamax.
For sure.
But we're talking about competitive and as a whole. And as a whole, we only played with this for a month. It's the only mechanic.
Core gameplay wise, for us,
in fact, Dynamax really changed things for Smogon tiering because they didn't know what to do with Terastalize at first.
Yeah, this was an unprecedented situation.
People were a little bit. So when you get to Terastalize, and we had the suspect test on it, people were kind of scared at first. They were like, "Dude, this shit is so OP, and I don't know how to beat it. Let's just ban this." But Gen 8 was not the most well-received competitive metagame at all. In fact, it's objectively the least enjoyed. That is a fact.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the competitive sake or whatever. I played Gen 8 in tournament, all right? It's a fine competitive gen. I enjoyed it in tournament. But I'm talking from the spectator position, the shit was whack. And that's a known that is a known feeling that a lot of people had. And so when Terastalize came around, even though at first people were up in arms, like the player base going, what the hell?
We didn't want to repeat.
Why the fuck can you change your type? Nobody wanted a repeat of no generation of the mechanic. I mean, no mechanic of the generation. Nobody wanted to play another fucking dry-ass game where the core element is gone. And so they found the common ground, which was just to keep Terra as is. That was the common ground.
We keep Terastalize, we'll be banned abusers.
But we banned the abusers. And so that's a huge topic. And that might be something amazing to do a video later on at some point where we talk about Gen 9.
As well,
Gen 9 revisited. Was it worth it? Were all the deaths necessary, all of our lost soldiers? Was that the right course of
Excalibur?
No, that shit's an important, for real though, it's an important discussion to be had though, because it's like
it's amazing. Definitely.
Excalibur. No,
let us know if you want to see that comment. Let us know if you want to see that.
There's no way Volk I think is broken in every gen except this one, but they banned it from this one. Actually, it's not banned. Broken in Gen 8. It's broken in 6 and 7 though. I don't care what anybody says.
For sure though. Yeah, literally.
All right, but let's talk about overall Terastal. I like this mechanic a lot.
Introducing 9.
It has made it has made the game the most intense it's ever been for me in terms of a competitive.
I think that's a really good word.
In Gen 5, 6, 7, and 8, I played extensively in tournament, and I could take a break, and I did. I would take breaks for months, come back to tournament, and clean up. That will not happen in Generation 9, at least for myself. I cannot take months off, come back, and farm everybody. I could do that in Gen 6 and Gen 7.
Possible.
9 is not possible. This is the most intensive current gen we've ever had to deal with. Things change so fast. Game states change with a flick. You have the actual essence of Terra, Mons changing their type, is a headache if you don't play a lot. This is the grind-heavy metagame. If you want to be a great player, you have to play a lot. And if you want to be at the top, as in one of the best competitors, it's not possible without hella effort and hella time put in. This generation is not possible to be amazing at or the very top.
It is not
unless you put unless you put all that time in. You have to know what's going on. You need to know what metagame is shifting, and that made Gen 9 not as attractive to people because not everybody wants to be a fucking professional tournament player. I don't even care about that much about that stuff anymore. I don't play tournament as much as I once did. Some players just want to
want enjoyment.
I do enjoy it, but the thing is, some players want to enjoy competitive, but they also just want to load up a battle and understand what's going on. They don't want to take a couple weeks off, come back, and it's a completely fucking changed slate. Current gen does update a lot.
Like if you can't have a foothold, it'll be really hard for you to enjoy because it feels like it's slipping out of your hands the entire time.
I think if you don't have like a base level enjoyment from like when Gen 9 came out, I don't blame people who are like, this mechanic is so dumb, or like, you know, like this shit I can't pay attention because
this is too much.
I don't expect everybody to want to fucking be a competitive master all the time. I don't expect everybody to want to know everything all the time. Like sometimes you just want to have a base understanding of
this is a mechanic.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry to cut you off, but I was going to say this is a mechanic that feels like Game Freak intentionally made it the most intrinsically linked to competition. It has to do with battling the most.
This is the ultimate noob killing
This is a
mechanic.
mind game.
This shit, and to this day, and I don't care if this pisses people off, the amount of people in singles that would to this day complain about Terra, and at this point, it's a skill issue. You were not able to adapt after 2 years of playing with this mechanic.
Yes,
that is a fundamental skill issue at that point for me. Because of the amount of time we played. At first, I can understand. In the beginning stages, thinking it's not fair, but now
because it's a huge shakeup.
But now that we've had time,
it's
years for a metagame to develop, and we know what happens, you can disagree with like the concept of tiering or whatever is supposed to be in Mons, but if you're still mad at the generation and blaming Terra, in my opinion, you should just find a different gen because you will not like this gen. And blaming Terra is absolutely a skill issue to me.
That being said, going into Gen 9, outside of the mechanic, Gen 9 happens. We get introduced to a quartet of Mons, just like we had the Tapus. We now have the Ruinous Quartet. I think that's their official name.
Oh, you mean Qianpao, Tinglu,
Wo Chen,
Qiyu.
Qiyu and Tinglu. All of them immediately amazing from what we know. Even Wo Chen, even though people don't like him, to me, he's very beautiful to me. I love Wo Chen.
Even though Woach, no. You know what's funny? Even though Woach is like low tiered, it always goes ham in all those games I see it in. Like he's always like, like he's always like tearing. He's taking all he does is Terra Poison or whatever and takes 0% from attacks. And I'm always looking at my screen like, damn, this bitch is annoying. Like,
yeah. What I was gonna say is, so we get the introduction of those Mons. We have a new pseudo as well, which is an interesting thing to talk about. When Gen 6, which had the first big, strong metagame defining mechanic in Megas, the pseudo legendary, which was Gudra, was actually not all that great or impressive for the generation it came out of. So very little impact generation wise. The other ones, Komo'o had impact. Gen 8, Dragapult, huge impact. Dragapult was LeBron James from what I know in his metagame, right? And then Gen 9, we have Baxcalibur, and wow, that he has a definite intricate story with the concept of Terra as well. We have this meta where again he was a really
cancerous Terra user. Entity. He was broken in base.
Let's call the entity.
But sorry, but he was broken in base, but turning grounder fairy and insta winning was like, okay, great.
It's insane.
Like
this is fun. And
anything that Dragon dances and has Terra has been historically a problem in this metagame.
Too strong. It's insane. And we'll talk about the concept, but during Gen 9, there was another power creep, and the power creep felt insane because you had
this is the most heinous power creep I've ever dealt with in my life.
Insane power creep.
You know how crazy, bro.
The abilities are insane.
Bro, think about this way.
The items are crazy.
The power creep got so fucking crazy that Choice Scarf barely exists anymore. Now you pick one of 10 dudes that have base 1 trillion speed and get +1 speed on off the rip.
Yes, literally.
What the fuck is a scarf?
Literally.
I go Valiant and I can switch moves.
What's going on? Exactly.
Bruh,
like,
I used to always pack a Scarf Lando on me, bruh. Like, bruh.
Bruh. That used to be the GOAT, but now he don't look that fast no more. That's not a Ferrari no more. That's like an Impala, some other shit. But
that was real shit.
You're right.
He is not
insane,
he is not a
insane
Ferrari.
power creep. What are the new items? Is it like Clear Amulet? What's the one that's like against Gargan Echoes? Is it
Cobra Cloak. Good call.
What is it?
Cobra
Cloak.
Cobra
Clear
Cloak.
Amulet.
Yeah, those are actually
loaded dice.
Oh,
good items. Good items. Cool. But Terra.
Oh, you cook. You name some good ones. Actually, to name a couple of other ones.
I feel like Terra has overshadowed.
I want to say that I see used in Booster, of course, we talked about, but Ability Shield is something new that I'm seeing people use on Golden Go, because it blocks the Pokemon's ability. So that means Weezing G, which is known for having neutralizing gas defog, he can't neutralize. So he actually gets hazard block. So
and Golden Go, yes.
So that's a new tech that has come upon the next has come up in the last 2 months. Ability Shield Golden Go, and it one shot stall. Stall automatically loses because the most common stall uses Weezing G to remove, but they insta lose because you can't remove now. And Weezing G, the whole point,
which I think is good,
is that
that's cool.
That's super cool. That's super cool.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, that was
like where I was going to say is we have all of these generations. They don't just bring a mechanic. They bring a new dex, right? They bring a new trend, which is they usually bring regional forms of beloved mons.
Yep.
Whether that's a Lola form, a Galarian form, a Paldean form, a Hisuian form. We also have to talk about that. They've done this new thing where every gen there will be an intermittent new update, like a mid-gen refresh. Whether that's a DLC with like Isle of Armor and stuff like that, which they did with Gen 8.
They figured that shit out pretty well in
right, which I think is good.
Gen
it's
6.
necessarily to make sure that the meta evolves. It's really important.
Shit gets mad stale and garbage if you don't put those DLCs out. You know how fucking dry. Even Gen 9's feeling dry, and we have a year left.
We were so hyped when they were showing Raging Bolt and Walking Wake and Gouging Fire, Ogre Pawn.
When Pokemon Home first dropped or whatever, and I got Rillaboom and all of them, that shit was so awesome. And we got the installments of it. Gliscor drop was absolutely cinematic, man. It was
exactly.
Gen 9 as a whole had some cool events happening.
For sure, that definitely, and I feel like they were all impactful to the metagame. Gouging Fire, crazy. When we got the Hisuian guys as well, we got Cleavor, Hisuian Samurott, which definitely has been impactful, right? From what I know, it was a great
I would give this Gen. People always talk about how like there's 10 ground types in Gen 9 OU or something, which is true. There's a shit ton of ground types. But what people don't talk about enough, in my opinion, is that the real winner of this gen is the dragon type. The dragon type is everybody has an issue with some dragon. People wanted to ban Wake. People banned Roaring Moon. They wanted to ban Kyurem. They tested Kyurem 2 times trying to ban it. Gouging Fire got banned. I mean, not banned after 2 tests. Excalibur gone to the moon.
All of them dragon beasts.
All of them dragon beasts. Fucking, what do we have right now that's dragon? Dragonite,
Dragapult,
Bolt. All annoying as fuck. Yeah, man, dragons are fucking god, man. They win so hard, bro. It's funny because
people used to say dragons took a backseat.
Exactly, when fairies dropped. But bro, Clef is not handling them boys anymore. Game is and but you know who would have stopped? But you know who would have stopped all those pussies? Roaring Moon, Vax. My boy Tapu Fini would have slid if that was the
facts. Fairy terrain.
Tapu Fini would have slid.
Facts.
Well,
Aquafina.
Well, I guess they would just like defensive Terra out. But the point is, he would stop the motion a little bit, you know.
And speaking of Gen 9, they had crazy guys. I forget Golden Go is a thing, but also Palafin, Niflap, the ultimate monster, Clark Kent himself.
We're talking about Palafin.
Insane Pokemon.
Bro, we had Fluttermane and shit. We had some
Fluttermane. Yeah, that's another thing. I keep forgetting. Paradox Mons. In 7, we had Ultra Beasts, which were so crazy to us, right? Ultra Beasts were insane.
Paradox,
Pheromosa.
You know, a lot of people, and I said this before myself, but Paradox just felt like a reskinned version of Megas. And so
really,
to me it did. Yeah, what do you think?
Okay. I thought it was way more like Ultra Beasts. I was like, whoa, this is like Ultra Beast. Even the ability with the booster energy, Beast Boost. I was like, this is more like that, you know. But I can see what you're saying. The amount of power they have is very more like a mega. Fluttermane feels like a mega. I won't lie. You're completely right.
Yeah.
Fluttermane
Some of them,
is a mega and a
some
half.
of them with the I mean, bro, some of them mons like they're not like broken, but they feel like mega quality. Like what's his face?
Right.
Iron Val to me was one of them shits where I was like, bro, what is this? Like,
whoa.
But Terra had that one
looks like
one thing where it was actually no, let me restate what I'm about to say. Terra is not the same as Z-Move to me in the sense that Z-Move could make any shitter actually shiced. Yeah. But Terra won't make a shit guy that much better. He's still that same
because
ass
the others
guy.
abuse better.
His type just changed. That's it. And you're
exactly.
Bro, you could actually get away with a Z-Move on a mediocre Pokemon. When I would use ZSD Lycanroc, that shit was memes, but that shit wasn't like all the way dicks. That shit actually had some level of utility.
It made the Mon go up with a 1.5 or something. You know what I mean?
It actually, that shit actually did help the Mons. I actually did. Did find that shit to be rather valuable.
Right.
But nah, they fucked up over.
There was a quality improvement to the Mon. In 9, it doesn't matter that you can turn Victory Bell steel, Brody.
He's still a fucking Victory Bell.
He's out of there.
You want him to be shiced? He needed Z. He needed Z fucking Vine Whip or some shit back then. He needed some special shit. So that is one thing.
It's good that you say that. The link to Z moves where you say some Mons get all of them get like an improvement, and there's clear abusers. There were Z move abusers. Terra, it feels like only the abusers win.
Yeah.
Only the abusers win, and everybody else, if you're dicks, you're dicks. You can't compete. You can't compete with all of the super already. Like you said, it's power creep, and then on that, now you have to guess for your life. Am I water fairy flying ghost normal? What's going on? You don't know, and it's very, very strong. I think it's too strong, too convoluted, and like you said earlier on, this mechanic has claimed a lot of lives in the form of bans. A lot of how many bans has this gen had? So many, right?
Dude, it's 20 plus. I was talking about this recently with somebody. It's 20 plus bans.
Crazy.
And so that, in my opinion, is a sign of incorrect tiering, which is a discussion for a different day. But the next generation, they need to have a better hold on tiering, because there was a way to not have to ban Terra and to also not end up with the mess that was this generation's tiering. This was a mess. Overall, I would consider what happened with Gen 9 to be very flawed tiering as a whole from console and all that. Yes. But I've already talked about that before.
But what do you think of the concept of Terra? What do you think of the concept of being able to switch?
I'll tell you this, at a base value,
we thought it was interesting.
And I'm talking about like this is Pokemon's new game. This is their mechanic for the regular Pokemon fan. I think this shit is beyond lazy. What the hell is turning into a new type, bro? That's some lame shit. Everybody has always talked about
the designs,
bro. Everybody has always talked about like, oh, I want to fuse these Pokemon, or you know, have this form of this regional or this form of this. It's like, bro, you just gave everybody the ability to turn into every type, and I think that's super lazy, and I don't think it's cool. Granted, I have not played Gen 9 in game, so I don't know if there's like some lore shit that makes it all worth it. But personally, I found that shit lazy. And you can always argue, some people are going to comment and be like, well, Z-Move is just a super strong attack strapped onto your Pokemon. But bro, like...
Okay, but no, I beg to differ. I do agree with you.
Tell me what you think.
I agree with you. I beg to differ with the people who say the Z-Move is just an attack. Because, like you said, you have Megas, people get whole new forms, new stats, new abilities. That's already an entirely new take in 3 different departments.
Yeah.
Then... like we said in the follow-up of the meta, because generations now, they have a lifespan. Towards the end of the generation, they do like an update or a part 2. In ORAS, we had like, it only happened to 2 Mons, right? Primal Reversion, but okay, the meta was about the mechanic.
Yeah.
Then Z moves, yeah, you had everybody who was able to do the normal Z moves, Breakneck Blitz, Twinkle Tackle, all-out pummeling. But then, like you said, certain Mons had unique ones, you know, Mew, Komo-O, all the other ones. Gen 8, you had Dynamaxes, which everybody could do, and that to us felt like, you know, this is kind of boring. Everybody's just doing Z-Max Guard and Z-Kill.
Everybody turning into the man is not cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, and then you had the Gigantamaxes, which I think me and you like more because it's unique design and unique moves.
Gigantamax,
there's something
the biggest
going
thing,
on here.
Yeah, we want things that are specific to that Mon. Even if that Mon is ass, or it's a Mon that we didn't care about before, now we'll care about it.
At least it gives you a different perspective.
Now we'll actually fuck with that Mon. Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, we on the same page, bro. Like,
9, I will agree, they were lazy because not only is the first introduction, okay, Terra, everybody can do it. Nobody outside of Ogrepon, which, you know, I thought maybe they were gonna introduce it. Whoa, his mask has to do with the Terra? What?
Yeah.
That's at least what they alluded to, right?
For
and then what do we get? Stellar type. Like, what is this? A whole new Pokemon type?
Oh, Stellar was a fucking mess. We all thought that.
But the
way they fucking advertised Stellar, bro, I was like, oh
we
my
thought
God.
it was a new 18th type or something.
I was like, gee, it's
yes,
I was like, bro, how the fuck are we gonna wrap our minds around a new type? Like,
yes, we were theory crafting, ended up being color changed with extra steps.
And then it was really color changed with extra steps. It's on, it's literally on. Literally Superior, which is mid, and Enamorous, which is good, so that's something. But even Enamorous is a merchant. It puts a choice scarf on and spams that
like
move,
zero
impact. Zero impact. Extreme is negative impact. I've seen some. I actually saw a tournament game where a dude won because he had Terra Stellar Zamazenta, and he Terra Stellared, and the extra boost helped him kill Pecharunt. But like, it was cool, but it's like overall this shit never gets used.
But that's a stat stick min max. That has nothing to do with the concept itself.
Oh,
honestly,
of course.
Able to kill
I'm just thinking about the few times I saw it. But nah, I'm with you as a whole. Stellar. I think they had so much potential with Stellar, and then they were like, actually though, let's just not do anything with it. How about that? And then it was like, booyah.
The mind game aspect of, hey, I changed my type. You have to beware. You have to scout is cool, but it's way too convoluted, way too strong. And like you said, the list of abusers of such a mechanic for specifically stuff like the dragons, it's too long. The rap sheet is too long. It's too shiest. Like you said, people started hating beloved mons. Even worse than, I guess maybe Gliscor was not beloved by everybody, but I really like Gliscor. I didn't hate him. Now, people call him the devil.
I'll tell you this.
You know,
I'll tell you this. And I've been saying this a lot. I've been
Yeah.
citing my years and generations of playing tournament. I've
Right,
experienced Gliscor in Gen 5, 6, and 7 extensively.
Right.
Nothing is compared to the beast that is 9 Gliscor.
Gen 9.
Yo.
He turned into the
Bro,
man.
I have seen.
He turned
Bro,
into
I played a series where my in Gen 5, 6, 7 Smogon Tour. I played a series. My opponent brought Gliscor in all 3 generations. And after the game, I looked at him. I was like, "You're a piece of shit, bro. You brought Gliscor in all 3 games."
Oh my God,
bro, it's crazy. Back then, he had Roost. He doesn't have Roost anymore. How is he more broken?
And he's still the GOAT. Oh my God.
When CTC first ever gave me the team with max speed, Terra Normal, Facade, Gliscor, what was that? What was that shit Meek said? Something about that Rolly when it first touched my wrist. It was
first touched my wrist.
I was like, man. I was like, man.
The boy when he first touched that brick.
Dawn. I was like, damn. I was like, holy fam. I ain't never felt some shit like this surging through my veins.
Yeah, I thought the Terra concept was cool, but in practice, impossible to balance. I think it's impossible to balance. It's just not possible.
It's
everybody.
It is.
You know,
it is by definition probably unbalanced. Like, if you want to talk about what
going back,
if you want to talk about like if your mentality. Sorry to interrupt you, but if your mentality when it comes to Pokemon, and this is not like you specifically. I mean whoever. And I always talk about this. People can have their own mentality of what makes a competitive game.
Sure,
I have my own opinions that people definitely don't agree with. But if your opinion on competitive Pokemon is, I should be able to game plan from turn 1, it has to go exactly this way, and I find Terastalize to be a bump in the road that isn't possible to plan for, I don't blame you all the way for having that opinion, but it's wrong. Because if you played more or you were better, respectfully, you would not be as surprised or consider that to be a roadblock. However, I will say that there definitely are some situations with Terastalize where I can understand why people get frustrated. Dragonite, Valiant going from Steel to Ghost to whatever.
King Gambit.
King Gambit is a piece of shit. Zamazenta is similarly a piece of shit. Again, this is a
Golden Goal.
Yeah, and I mean, let me just tell you all real quick that none of the current issues in the meta would happen if they didn't ban Roaring Moon, but go figure. But anyways, the point is, a lot of chain reaction stuff in Gen 9 made it a pretty weird. I would tell you this, if Gen 9 ended in November, as Pokemon's usual schedule is, right? Where 3 months per game. I mean, sorry, 3 years per game. I think it would have been looked at pretty positively. But I think since we're going to have to play this for a whole nother year going into next year, shit might get a little painful in terms of fatigue. I love Generation 9 and I love Terastalize because it has made me had to work harder than I've ever had to work for a win. The overall player base is very good right now because CTC basically gave his entire builder to Smogon and all the sample teams are his. So fucking noob, like little noob Jimmy or whatever can get on the ladder and beat me at 1000s quite literally because he is equipped with that type of team and it helps the knowledge of the game so much faster. If I'm making my own dog shit with a Jolteon and going on the ladder, and I'm hard stuck 1200 for 6 months, I don't even understand the compositions that go into a good team. I ain't gonna learn shit. Like, that's a waste, and I'm not even gonna enjoy the game if I'm getting packed up all the time. But now that the resources are all there too, it's like the level is so high, and that also made people hate Gen 9 because it's like they can't casually enjoy it. They can't casually enjoy OU anymore. Is what I think a lot of people feel like.
I will say, closing remarks on my side is it's important, like you said, to not have the mechanic overshadow the generation, because the generation is more than just a mechanic. There's new Pokemon that are very beloved. I love Clodsire. I love the fact that the Wooper line got love. Amazing Pokemons. I like the starters. I thought I wouldn't like him. I really do like him. I like Baxcalibur a lot. Design, like Gen 9 is cool to me. I like the in-game. I like this. I think Paradoxes are so cool. Sandy Shocks, epic. I love it. You know,
Shocks is a classic.
Moves as well. Like I think it's good. I like Gen 9 a lot in-game wise. I think it was good. I also, like you said, it feels like the eyes and spotlight have never been more on Mons than ever before. Right now is the time. Everybody's invested. Everybody's having fun. Everybody has their opinion. Everybody has their flavor, and that's what makes the game good, you know? But, you know, like you said, having to deal with this mechanic for so long, going into potentially a 4th year, it can feel like a drag.
It can exhaust anybody, right?
Right,
and
for sure.
Me personally, like, I don't know. There's been I've had time where I got frustrated with every generation when it was current gen at some point, which is fatigue. If you play the same fucking game over and over every day, you're gonna eventually have periods where you're bored or where you think the game itself is not very fun or competitive or whatever. I had that with everything. There was a period where I thought Gen 7 was truly garbage, and I went on to love Gen 7 and always talk the most high about Gen 7 back in the day after a while. But in the beginning, I remember when Gen 7 came out, I was like, bro, this shit sucks. I remember telling my friends, I'm like, bro, this shit is not that fire. Like,
there was a lot of changes.
It had nothing to do with Z moves either. But it was I was just super averse to the changes that were in Gen 7. I was like, these are not fire, bro. But
and a lot of stuff we predicted. It's not like we went in blind.
You gotta humble yourself too. You can't always just think like, what the fuck is this generation not the exact same as last generation, bro?
Like the one I want.
We've always dealt with something
massive.
Why did they go in a
different direction?
Bruh, I didn't play when Gen 4 and Gen 3 were main gen, but can you imagine being an old head and seeing the game, the Gen 3 to Gen 4 physical special split, and then going from no preview to team preview? That used to be the ultimate thing back in the day. Old heads that like never even actually played any real tournament Pokemon would always randomly just drop, oh yeah, game stopped being skillful when Team Preview got taken away. And it's hilarious because it's the opposite, dumbass. Skill went up when Team Preview got introduced. Now there's no DD Knight in the back that I don't know about. Now I know what you got. You're cooked. So that's why people don't like Terra though, because they're like, oh, well, I didn't actually, conversation for another time. I think we're good here on this. We'll put this mediocre mechanic that convolutes. I think that's perfect. Honestly, bro, and this is not me hating on Gen 9 or Terra. I'm Terra's biggest fucking fan, bro. I'm the reason Terra not banned, bro. When we did that, when the vote happened, all that shit. But nah, man, it's overall this shit really constricted the game as a whole. So I hope that they pick something. I hope they think more.
The next mechanic?
Yeah, after Dynamax and this, they better think more.
I hope it's It doesn't have to be perfect like Z moves. It doesn't have not Z moves, Megas. But I hope it's a fun mechanic that's well balanced. I hope the next mechanic, whatever it's called.
We don't need shit perfect, man. We just
just good, fun, balanced. Let the integrity of the game not get overshadowed and completely, warped by one thing.
We're on the same page there.
I think that's good.
Yeah, and that's about it. So we hope you guys enjoyed. Kind of like a trip down memory lane style video, but also great to talk about these and see where they ended up. I guess this is more or less.
See what you think.
I guess some of you probably didn't expect me to put Terra in this category that says mediocre mechanic, but honestly, if I compare this to the mechanics above it,
it's fair.
This is a mediocre mechanic on it. It's fun. It has made me never had to put as much work in as I do when I play, but overall, man, I'm trying to have a good time. Sometimes I'm trying to use my Lycanroc type shit, you know?
Exactly.
Sometimes I want to have that casual but still competitive enjoyment. It shouldn't be this generation is geared toward the try-hard competitive player, which is fair.
It's very
we never really got that as competitive Pokemon players, so that's cool. But now I realize that that's not the shit I want. So that's my final Pokemon. I'm sorry, but I capped.
All good. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you guys think.
Yes, definitely do let us know in the comments below. Let us know if you want to see more discussion videos and streams, and give us some ideas what you want to see. We want to post more stuff like this. It's exciting. We got huge news coming out. Matter of fact, let us know if you want to see some type of history videos where we just talk about some of the old gens or whatever the case is. We got a lot in the tank, gang. Anyways, leave a like, definitely leave a comment, and we're gonna see you all next time. Have a good one. Peace.